August, as we all know, has been a pretty busy month for mergers and acquisitions. Does this month's activity signal a real pickup in M&A, or is it just sort of a one-off? Joining us to sort that out is John Reiss. He's head of global mergers and acquisitions at White Case. His firm has ranked among the top 10 law firms worldwide for M&A completed deals, and obviously he's here with us in the studio. John, thanks for coming in. Obviously, there's been a lot to talk about recently, but we've been hearing from some folks that it's not necessarily going to continue. What do you think?
Well, it does seem to be exciting. We had $90 billion worth of deals announced last week. We have almost $200 billion worth of deals for August. This August could turn out to be the busiest August on record. $275 billion in 1999 was the largest month. This could surpass that. But it's a little too much excitement to be drawn from one month. Deals tend to come in waves. I was sitting here last March. We had what we called at that time Merger Monday, and people wanted to know, is that the harbinger of something to come? August is typically a very slow month, so the fact that we're a little busier than normal, I think, has gotten people excited.
Well, let's take a step back in here and look at what's driving all of this activity, because that can then give us a window into whether it will be continuing. I mean, you look at the cash that folks have. A lot of these are so-called strategic acquisitions, where basically a company wants something from a competitor or a smaller company. I mean, those are trends that aren't necessarily going away, are they?
I think that's an excellent point. There's an enormous amount of cash. People are consistently talking about the trillions of dollars of cash on people's balance sheets. The corporations have trillions of dollars of balance sheets. The PE shops have a lot of money available. And there are some strategic imperatives, admittedly. You can see the strategic imperatives played out in the deals that have been recently announced. You've got the technology deals, you've got the energy deals. It's clear that there's a lot of motivation on the buy side. The question you really have to ask yourself is, where is the motivation on the sell side? So, for example, if you look at the deals, it's very hard to cajole the sellers to the bargaining table and ultimately to reach an agreement.
And you're seeing pretty steep premiums as a result.
You're seeing
and bidding wars in some cases.
Exactly. So, and also some hostile activity. So the fact that you see a reasonable number of deals, in my view, not an enormous number of deals, but among those deals, several hostile acquisitions. When a deal eventually gets agreed to, you see a number of bidders jumping in, leads you to the conclusion that there's plenty of buying appetite. The question is, where is the selling appetite? And the selling appetite is likely to come from really just two places: distress situations and conglomerates narrowing themselves down, or PE sellers looking towards an exit, in light of the fact that there really isn't an IPO exit at this point in the time for PE sellers.
Well, to continue on with your appetite analogy, so to speak, I mean, the question is, the buyers that we've seen thus far have strong stomachs, so to speak, because they're sticking with it. They're raising their bids in some cases. But would you argue that there are a limited number of companies who would be on the buy side who have that strong stomach to persist with a hostile, for example, or to raise the premium to such a degree that it would then become attractive to the seller?
I think there are a limited number of companies that are willing to do hostiles, but the strategic imperatives may drive more companies than historically were willing to do hostiles. Again, I do believe that in light of the amount of cash that's on the balance sheets of corporations, the amount of cash that the PE buyers have, and what do you do with the cash, that you are going to have a reasonable number of buyers. And the question is, can they find the assets and get the sellers who have those assets to agree to sell?
Where are we going to see the most activity for the rest of the year?
I think the energy space, which has been active throughout this year, will continue to be very active. I think the technology space will be reasonably active. And after that, I think you'll see transactions in healthcare, to a lesser extent in financial services. And I think cross-border activity is going to continue to be an important force in the M&A market through the end of 2010.
John, thanks a lot for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
John Reiss of White Case talking to us about the M&A market, the very busy M&A market recently.